This story is about a vigilante organization on the island of Regalo called Arcana Famiglia. Some members of this organization have powers that come from what is called Taroko, and they call them Arcana powers. This organization maintains order throughout the island of Regalo. One day, the only daughter of the organization's leader named Felicita decides to join the organization. Together with Luca, his personal bodyguard, they go to the mansion of Arcana Famiglia. They were greeted by other members led by Dante, the head of the intelligence division and the director of the Arcana Famiglia, who held the fourth card of the Taroko called the Emperor. He also met Liberta, who was a member of the intelligence division, Debito, who was the head of the coin division, Pace, who was the head of the stick division, and Nova, who was the head of the cup division. While Felicita was included in the sword division because there was no leader in this division. There is a fight among its members organized by Felicita's mother, Samire, who holds the 20th card, which is the court. Felicita wins the fight, so she becomes the new head of the sword division. On the 59th birthday of Mondo, their leader and Felicita's father, the event was attended by members of the organization. When Felicita arrived there, she once again met the leaders of each division. When he saw Nova and Liberta, he didn't mean to see their hearts. Jolly suddenly came and mentioned the first card, the Fool, held by Liberta, the 13th card, Death, held by Nova, and the 6th card, the Lovers, held by Felicita. She tells them about Felicita's power to see into other people's hearts, which makes Liberta embarrassed after finding out. According to Felicita, she did not do it on purpose. Jolly said that it was because he was young, and that was the reason why he couldn't control it yet. When their leader arrives with his wife, he announces that he is retiring and that he will choose someone to replace him. In order to determine the next worthy leader of the organization, they would hold an Arcana duel after 2 months, and all members with Arcana powers had to participate. With his blessing as the leader and holder of the 21st card of the world, he will transfer his position to the winner of this duel, and he will give whatever the winner asks for. He added that the winner would also marry his daughter Felicita, which surprised them all. Felicita disagrees with this, but according to her father, she must follow orders because she is an official member of the Arcana Famiglia who must obey the wishes of the leader. He tells his daughter that if he wants to oppose her, he must fight and defeat his own father. Determined to get her father to revoke the order, Felicita immediately attacks her, but she can't even hit her father. His father also disagrees with this, so Mondo provokes him to attack as well. Liberta advances, but Nova confronts her and tells her that she won't let anyone try to hurt their leader. The two get angry with each other and immediately start fighting, but they're stopped by Debito and Pace. Debito holds the 9th card, the Hermit, which can make him invisible, while Pace holds the 11th power card, which makes him very strong. But when Liberta used her powers, she managed to break free from Pace's strong arms. Mondo tells him that if he really wants Felicita to be free, he will have to win the duel that will take place because he says that he will grant everything the winner asks for. Felicita is also told by her mother that she needs to win the duel to be able to do what she wants. While Felicita was relaxing outside, Liberta approached her. He promises her that if he wins the fight, he will free Felicita. Nova also appears and tells him that if he wins the duel, he won't ask her to marry him. The next day, while Felicita was at the office, Liberta came up to her and gave her something. They saw Nova running down the corridor in a hurry. This makes them curious to know the cause, so they follow it. They saw her in a room as if she was looking for something, and by accident Felicita saw Nova's heart and knew what she was looking for. Liberta tells Nova that they will help her find the cat until they reach the park. They had a hard time catching him. Luckily, the cat jumped towards Felicita because the cat liked him. Felicita smells the cat. Then Jolly suddenly comes over and tells them about the perfume. Liberta is surprised that Jolly came out of her lab during the day. Jolly then tells them that even though he holds the 18th card, the moon, that doesn't mean he can't go out in the morning. Felicita thanks Jolly for the information she shared, and Jolly replies that it is her job because she is their family's advisor. After Jolly left, the three decided to look for the cat's owner, but they had trouble finding him. So, they went and talked to Pace along with the rest of his division. Then Pace remembers that he knows someone who can help them, and it turns out to be Debito. With the help of Felicita's powers, Debito immediately remembers who the cat's owner is. The three went to return the cat to its owner, and as a token of gratitude, the cat owner gave Felicita a beautiful outfit. On the way home, the three of them discussed about the upcoming Arcana duel that they all wanted to win. One night, their servant Isabella spreads a rumor that she sees a ghost. So, Felicita and Liberta go to Nova and encourage her to help investigate the matter. However, they soon find out that this was done by Luca to scare Pace, who was walking in his sleep and wanted to eat what he had prepared. Felicita asks Luca what she is doing and for whom. According to Luca, it is all for children and will be taken to an event called Piccolino that is always held by Arcana Famiglia. The next day, they went to church, and Felicita came with the rest of the organization. While Debito tries to make the kids laugh with his jokes, Luca and Pace tell Felicita about their past in this church with Debito. While in the mansion, Nova was looking outside and didn't go to Piccolino because he said he had a lot of things to do. Samire visits her, and because of the heavy rain, she sees the worry on Nova's face for the children. So he told her to go there and check on them. However, he said that he did not need to worry because the three division heads were there. Because of Samire's words of encouragement, Nova finally decided to go to church. While Debito and the others drive the children back to their home, Liberta tries to entertain the children so they don't get bored. After Debito delivers the last two children, Nova arrives, which surprises Liberta and Felicita. According to Liberta, all the children had been escorted by Debito to their home, but Nova pointed behind them and asked who the child was left behind. The child introduced himself as Elmo and asked Felicita what was wrong with her heart because it was the first time she had felt such a feeling. Because the boy felt cold, Liberta took the blanket, but when he returned, the boy said that he was leaving. Nova immediately went out to chase after Elmo, but the child suddenly disappeared. One day, Felicita asks Liberta to accompany her to her mother's friend's house to deliver a scarf. Since they didn't understand the map given by Nova, they decided to pass through the rooftops of the houses. While on the rooftop, Felicita asks Liberta how long she and Dante have known each other, but Liberta realizes that she also doesn't remember how long they have known each other. As they continue their search, they accidentally fell and damaged the store where they landed. As payment for the damage, the shop owner asked them to sell the items in the shop until the afternoon. When Liberta looked at the masks for sale, there was one mask that was familiar to her. When they return to the mansion, he shows the mask to Dante and tells him that it is the mask worn by the person who saved him from the orphanage. Dante is shocked but ignores this topic and instead scolds Liberta for dragging Felicita into trouble. Liberta was annoyed by Dante's reaction, so she left. Felicita was about to follow him, but before leaving, Felicita saw Dante's memories of Liberta. He talks to Dante because he's worried about Liberta, so Dante tells the story of how he and Liberta first met as he remembers what happened 10 years ago. Liberta also recalled other memories of seeing fires in the city. According to Dante, Liberta's strength is his word. She could do anything with just her words, but there were times when Liberta couldn't control her power. That's when Dante decided to seal Liberta's memories, and with Mondo's help, he also sealed his powers. Dante added that he would not remove his seal until Liberta became stronger enough to control his powers. When Liberta came home, she met Felicita and begged her to see her memories, but Felicita didn't comply with her request, so she went straight to Dante. As he confronts Dante, he is told that he is not ready to accept the past. Liberta couldn't accept what Dante was doing to her memory, and out of anger, she immediately left. The next day, while at the casino, Debito and Pace hear a woman complaining about her missing wallet. Nova invites Felicita to join the patrol so that she can see what the other divisions are doing. Felicita was amazed to see how Nova led her division. While they were patrolling the area, Felicita collided with a man, and then she saw what the man was doing, so they followed him and took the wallet he stole. Suddenly her friends come, so Felicita and Nova have to fight, and they easily defeat them. They also return the wallet to its owner, and on the way home, they discuss Nova's technique in defeating thieves without shedding blood, and Felicita says that she is amazed by it. Nova also mentioned to him that the reason the Arcana duel might be held was to make him stronger, because one day he would have to be the heir to the position. One day, Nova receives news from his staff that there is an anomaly in the funds used for research. Since Nova is training Felicita, she orders him to gather information inside Jolly's lab about the anomaly and the use of the funds. When Felicita came to open the door of the laboratory, she couldn't open the room. Suddenly Jolly comes over and tells her that she always changes the locks in her lab. He also knew that Nova had asked him to investigate the funds he was using in research. He also gave documents containing information about the fund to Felicita so that others would stop investigating it. After Felicita leaves, Jolly opens up what she is hiding inside the lab that she doesn't want anyone else to know for a while. As they looked at the documents provided by Jolly, they were shocked to see Nova's parents' clinical records. Nova then told Felicita how her parents remained unconscious for 7 years. He told her that it was due to his strength. His parents planned and tried to replace Mondo as the leader of the Arcana Famiglia. Nova learns that her parents are only taking advantage of her for their ambitions, so one day she uses her death power on them. One night, all the division heads were called for an emergency meeting. Since Dante was not around and had to take care of something important, Liberta was asked to attend the meeting in Dante's place. Jolly tells them about the pirates who landed on the island, and they also managed to kidnap Mondo's brother, who is also Nova's father. Although there is no clear information as to why the pirates kidnapped Nova's father, they will not act rashly. Nova abruptly leaves the room, so Liberta chases after him to convince him to save his father. When Felicita comes out, Nova decides that they should go to the dock and enter the pirate ship. When they get inside the ship, they face the pirates, but due to their large numbers, Nova decides that Liberta and Felicita go ahead of them. Nova used her powers and quickly knocked the pirates unconscious. Meanwhile, Liberta manages to find Nova's father. When they get out of the ship, the pirate leader in a mask similar to the person who saved Liberta from the orphanage faces them. Felicita and Liberta work together to fight the pirate leader. Then Liberta must use her strength to save Felicita from the falling mast. Liberta fainted and Felicita was also attacked unconscious. It turns out that these people are Dante and others who are just pretending to be pirates to test the three for the upcoming Arcana duel. When Felicita woke up, they were in the basement of the mansion. Then Jolly came over to talk to them. Both Nova and Liberta inquire about the condition of Nova's father and the masked pirate leader. Jolly said that Nova's father survived while they said they had no news about the masked man. He even mentioned that the two used their powers to save Nova's father. After Jolly left, they wondered how he knew what was happening on the ship. In his laboratory, Jolly examines a child named Elmo, who he is caring for. After checking on him, Elmo begged Jolly to accompany him for a walk outside. Felicita was also outside and walking down the streets when she saw Jolly and Elmo. He tells Luca about this, and he warns her about Jolly. According to Luca, although he admires Jolly in terms of alchemy, his character is different. The next day, Felicita sees Liberta and Elmo together. According to Liberta, she had just seen Elmo walking around the mansion a few minutes ago. Jolly comes to them, and they make sure that the two know each other. Jolly begs Felicita to give Debito a letter because she won't come to her lab if Jolly asks for it. After Debito read the letter, she was shocked to learn that it was about one of her eyes. Debito asks Felicita to tell Jolly that her eyes are fine, but Felicita can see from Debito's face how angry she is towards Jolly. Afterwards, Felicita talks to Nova about what she observed in Jolly and her relationship with Debito, Luca, and Pace. He wanted to know the problems they had with each other because he might be able to help them in some way. Liberta suddenly approaches them and asks for help to clean the church, so Nova and Felicita find a way to invite Debito and Jolly to help clean the church as well. They were all busy cleaning up when Jolly came. Debito was furious when he saw her, so Jolly mentioned about Debito's one eye, which was the reason for controlling her Arcana powers. Then Jolly tells Felicita how the three got their Arcana powers as a result of her experiments. This happened because he wanted to know how the Arcana's power worked, so he managed to implant it in all three. Debito is furious and wants to kill Jolly, but she can't do it. Pace was equally angry and attacked Jolly, but it was soon held back by his power. But with Pace's strength, he managed to break his shield and hit Jolly hard. After that, Jolly just stood up and left, which made Felicita even more worried. Because of the incident, both Nova and Liberta noticed how sad Felicita was, so they both told her that they were going to Jolly's room. Since no one answered when they knocked and the door opened, they decided to go inside the room. They were shocked to see Elmo inside the container. Jolly suddenly arrives and tells them that this is an artificial human she created called a homunculus. The next day, as Felicita thought about their discovery last night, Nova and Liberta hurriedly went to her room and told her about what had happened to her father. Felicita and the others rushed to her father's room, and when they got there, they saw him lying on the bed. According to his mother, Mondo just needs a break. Felicita left the room for a while. Jolly and Dante also leave the room, and while the two are talking, Felicita comes over and asks them to tell her the things she wants to know. They go to Jolly's lab and are greeted by Elmo. Jolly explains that even though Elmo is just an artificial human, he holds the 16th card called the Tower. Then he asked Elmo to go play so they could talk about other details. Afterwards, Jolly continued his explanation of the reason why he created Elmo. He said that he made the homunculus so that he could place other Taroko cards on them. When Felicita asks why she needs to place the Taroko card on the homunculus, Dante replies that when Mondo releases the Taroko seal, she manages to get the world card. This card brings together all the Taroko cards, but there is a price to pay. The 22 cards can exist by consuming the emotional power of their owners, but other cards that do not have an owner can only survive due to the power of Mondo's world cards. Because of this, Mondo may fall into a coma or even die. Felicita was disturbed and very sad about her father's condition, so he demanded to know how to save her. To reduce the burden borne by Mondo, they just need to find someone who can hold another card that has no owner. This is what Jolly did to Debito, Luca, and Pace when they were kids, but only the three managed to get the power of the card, so he still needs to create a homunculus. Then she tells Felicita another way to save her father, which is by using another card she holds, namely the 10th card, the Wheel of Fortune, which has the power to change the relationship between humans and Taroko. She added that Felicita had done it before to Samire by accident when she was younger. At that time, her mother also had to use her strength to save her father. This power is also the reason why Mondo kept Felicita away from the mansion to prevent her from using the power again, but since Mondo knew that she wouldn't last long, she decided to allow Felicita to return to the mansion. This situation makes Mondo decide to hold an Arcana duel so that someone can support him if he dies, and that's why he also wants the winner to marry Felicita. After her conversation with Jolly and Dante, Felicita goes to her father's room and asks her mother why her father chose the world card. Her mother let Felicita hold her father's hand, and there she saw her past as well as the reason why she was forced to host the card. Felicita wants to save her father with the help of the Wheel of Fortune, but Samire disagrees with this. When Felicita came out of her father's room, she saw Nova and Liberta practicing. He uses his powers, namely the Lover card, on both of them to test how well he can control them. After using it, he was sure that he could also use the Wheel of Fortune well to save his father. Jolly is aware of the consequences of using the Wheel of Fortune, which is Felicita's memory loss, but she doesn't mention it because she might be hesitant to use it. After Dante found out, he immediately ran to stop Felicita, but when he arrived at Mondo's room, it was too late. When Felicita woke up, she no longer recognized the people around her. Nova talks to Samire about what happened to Felicita, but according to Samire, Nova doesn't need to worry because they will take care of Felicita. While Nova was sitting outside, Liberta approached her, and they talked about why Felicita had 2 Arcana powers. Due to the fact that all 3 of them have the same Arcana power since they were born, Nova thinks that Liberta might as well become a member of their family one day. They were looking for a way for Felicita to remember something, so they took her to the old house in the hope that some of her memories would come back. However, when they returned to the mansion, Dante only scolded them. As they talk about Felicita's memory loss, Jolly comes over and tells the others that it's due to the use of the Wheel of Fortune, which she tells herself. They also learned that to save Mondo, Felicita was forced to use the power of the card. However, They're still angry with him because he still allows Felicita to use his powers despite knowing the consequences of this decision. Davido can't stand it anymore and points a gun at him, but Jolly says that if he dies, Felicita's memory may not recover. They then realized what Jolly's power could do. Mondo comes over and tells Jolly that he can't forgive her even though he did it for her sake. Liberta suddenly approaches Mondo to persuade him to allow Jolly to help Felicita, and even Nova does the same. Finally, Mondo had no other choice but to allow Jolly to use the power of the moon on his daughter. After Jolly entered Felicita's memory, the entire area was just dark. He searched for Felicita's whereabouts, but didn't find him until he began to feel weak. Then Mondo comes and uses his powers to enter his daughter's memories. Suddenly the color around her changed, and they saw Felicita surrounded by thorny vines. They tried to remove the vines that were blocking them, but to no avail. Fortunately, Liberta and Nova also entered the memory and helped save Felicita. Felicita immediately woke up and his memory returned. When Felicita was about to go to bed, she decided to come out of her room and saw Dante and Jolly talking. He hears from the conversation that the power of the Wheel of Fortune does not fully work on Mondo. After he returns to his room, the Lover's card speaks to him and tells him what is missing, that the Wheel of Fortune does not work on his father. According to the Lovers, to be able to fill the emotional strength needed by the Wheel of Fortune, Felicita must have someone she loves because love cannot be fulfilled by herself. The next day, Jolly talks to Felicita to tell her about Mondo's condition. Then Felicita tells him that the Lover's card talks to him and tells him what to do. Jolly says that she has to choose between Liberta and Nova. Meanwhile, the two people talked about Nova's parents. Liberta was angry that Nova didn't tell the truth about her feelings. Even she could see that she wanted to use her powers to wake up her parents again. After Liberta hits Nova to resuscitate her, she offers her hand, and Felicita also comes to Nova's aid. They conducted research on what could be the solution. When Jolly sees them, she says that Nova should use her powers in the same way as when she put her parents to sleep, but it's also possible that she won't wake up after using her powers. Nova didn't care about this as long as her parents woke up from their long slumber. When they arrived at Nova's parents' residence, he used his powers to try to wake them up, but he lost consciousness, and when he woke up, his parents still hadn't woken up. As the Arcana duel approached, the training of the participants was in full swing. When the tournament began, those with Arcana powers quickly defeated their competitors in the preliminary round. Felicita fights against Davido, Pace, and Luca, and he defeats them all. Liberta and Dante fight each other, while Nova fights Samire. Liberta managed to defeat Dante, and Nova also defeated Samire. Because of this, Nova and Liberta will fight while Felicita waits to see who will win between them. The fight between the two began, and no one wanted to lose. The fight lasted until the afternoon, and they decided to use their last strength for the final attack. They rushed at each other, and due to the excessive use of Arcana's power, they both weakened and lost consciousness. When they wake up, they are told that their fight is over, so it is Felicita who fights against Mondo. As they fought, Mondo's illness affected him. When Mondo uses his powers, Felicita is able to give the love that the Lover's card needs. It turns out that he also responds to the love given by others. Because of this, Felicita activates the Wheel of Fortune and is able to save her father from death. Then he was declared the winner of the contest. As a reward, Felicita requested that her father remain at the helm of the Arcana Famiglia as long as she was alive. I hope you like this story and give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.